I found the photo 3 weeks after I got back. It was in the pocket of the coat I wore on that trip. I wasn't the one who took it. It was in January of this year. I rented a cabin in the mountains for 10 days. Remote place, difficult access, snow everywhere. It was exactly what I needed after a suffocating year at work. The cabin was 40 minutes from the nearest town. Dirt road, tight curves, no cell signal. The listing said it was perfect for anyone wanting to disconnect. I arrived on a Thursday late afternoon. The sun was already setting behind the trees. The temperature was around 5 degrees below zero. The owner, a woman around 60 years old, handed me the keys and left quickly. She said if I needed anything, just go down to town, but I probably wouldn't need to. The way she said that bothered me, like she knew something. First night was quiet. I lit the fireplace, cooked something simple, read a book. The silence was absolute, the kind that seems to weigh on your ears. Sometimes I heard the cabin's wood creaking from the cold. Normal. But on the second night, I woke up at 3:17 a.m. I had heard something outside. A muffled sound, like footsteps in the snow. So I got up, went to the window. Only darkness. The snow reflected a bit of moonlight, but I couldn't see much beyond the porch. I stood there listening. Nothing. I went back to bed. Took a while to fall asleep again. In the morning, I went out to walk around the cabin. I wanted to see if there were any animals nearby, deer maybe. That's when I saw the footprints. They came from the forest, went straight to my bedroom window. Stopped there and went back. They were human footprints. Boots, large size. I spent the whole day uneasy. I thought about leaving, but something told me it was silly. It could be someone from the area passing through, a hunter, some distant neighbor, even though the footprints went straight to my window. At night, I locked everything. Door, windows, even the back exit I hadn't even used. I put a chair against the main door. I lay down but didn't turn off the lights. I kept listening. Around midnight, I heard it again. Footsteps outside. This time slower, deliberate. Someone was walking around the cabin. I got up without making a sound. My heart was beating so hard it hurt. I went to the living room window, the one facing the opposite side from the bedroom. I pressed my face against the cold glass, and I saw her figure, standing in the middle of the snow about 10 meters away, wearing a dark coat, beanie, hands shoved in pockets, staring directly at me. I didn't move. The figure didn't either. We stayed like that for maybe a minute, or more, I don't know. Then slowly the person took a step back, another, and disappeared into the trees. I ran to the door, checked if it was locked, checked again, pushed the kitchen table against it too. I sat on the couch facing the door until sunrise. When dawn broke, I went outside. I tried to call the owner. No signal. I thought about driving down to town, but the road was covered in fresh snow. At least 15 centimeters, my car wouldn't make it. I was trapped there. I spent the day inside the cabin, looking out the window every 5 minutes, nothing, empty forest, silence. When the sun began to set, I felt panic rising. Another night. I pushed all the furniture I could carry against the door, closed the curtains on all the windows, left the lights on. I sat on the bed with a kitchen knife in my hand. Midnight. 1 o'clock. 2. 3 in the morning. Nothing. I started to relax. Maybe the person had left. Maybe it was just someone passing through trying to scare me. That's when I heard the back door opening. I froze. I had locked that door, I was sure of it. The footsteps came in slowly. Heavy boots on the wooden floor, coming down the hallway, toward the bedroom. I gripped the knife. My hand was shaking so much I almost dropped it. The footsteps stopped outside the bedroom door. Silence. Then the doorknob started to turn. Slowly. The door was locked from inside, but it kept trying, turning, testing. It stopped. I waited. Nothing. I stayed there, curled up on the bed until daylight came through the crack in the curtain. When I opened the door, the house was empty. The back door was wide open, and on the floor near the threshold there was melted snow, Wet footprints that came in and didn't go out. I didn't wait any longer. I grabbed my things, threw them in the car and drove down the mountain despite the snow. I skidded 3 times, almost flipped on a curve. When I got to town, I went straight to the owner's house. She opened the door and looked at me as if she'd been expecting me. I told her everything. The footprints, the figure, the door. She sighed, offered me coffee. I declined. She said the cabin had a problem, that sometimes someone appeared there, someone who shouldn't be alive. A man who had lived on that mountain for decades, who disappeared in the winter of 2003. They found his body 6 months later, frozen, less than a kilometer from the cabin. They said he died trying to get home, but nobody knew where his home was. She refunded part of my money and asked me not to tell anyone. I went back to my life, tried to forget, until I found the photo. It was in the coat pocket, printed, not digital, as if someone had used an instant camera. The image showed the interior of the cabin, the living room, the fireplace, the couch where I sat, and in the corner, blurred, almost imperceptible, a silhouette, standing behind the couch, looking at the camera. The photo was taken from inside the bedroom, from the place where I slept. I shouldn't have taken that shortcut, but the GPS insisted. Fastest route, secondary road 403, save 40 minutes. It was my first time driving alone on a long trip. 6 hours to my parents' house. Harsh winter, snow forecast for the night. I left at 3 in the afternoon. I wanted to arrive before dark. The main road was congested. Accident on the highway. Line of stopped cars as far as the eye could see. That's when the GPS recalculated and showed the alternative. A road that cut through the forest, practically deserted on the map, but it would save me time. I took the detour at 4:20 p.m. It was the last time I saw another car. The road was narrow, cracked asphalt, dense forest on both sides. After 15 minutes, it started to snow. Fine flakes at first, then denser. Within half an hour, visibility was already compromised. I reduced speed, turned on the headlights. The GPS showed 32 kilometers to the next town. I continued. That's when I saw the first sign. It was crooked, rusted, almost covered by vegetation. Don't stop. That's all. I thought it was strange, but figured it was an old warning, maybe about robberies. 10 minutes later, another sign. Don't turn off the engine. My stomach tightened. I looked around, forest, snow, nothing else. I pressed the accelerator. The third sign appeared when it was already almost dark. If you hear knocking, don't look. I stopped the car. I stayed there, engine running, hands trembling on the wheel. That didn't make sense. Who would put signs like that on a public road? I grabbed my phone. No signal. Obviously. I looked at the GPS. Still showed 18 kilometers to town. I took a deep breath, started driving again. The snow was heavier. The wipers could barely keep up. That's when I heard it. A knock on the car roof. I froze. 2 knocks. Harder. I remembered the sign. If you hear knocking, don't look. I fixed my eyes on the road, hands gripping the wheel. The knocking continued. Like someone was tapping lightly, testing. It lasted about 30 seconds. Then it stopped. I accelerated. The car skidded on the snow. I controlled it. Continued. The knocking didn't return, but I started to feel it. That weight. Like the car was heavier. Like something had climbed onto the roof and stayed there. I shook my head. It was paranoia. Had to be. 5 more kilometers. Another sign. Don't get out of the car. And right below, written by hand with faded paint, even if you see someone. My heart raced. The road started climbing. Sharp curve. More snow. It was on the descent that I saw it. A figure, standing in the middle of the road. I hit the brakes. The car skidded, stopped about 5 meters from the person. It was a woman. Thin coat, no gloves, no hat. standing there in the middle of the snowstorm like nothing. She looked at me. Didn't move, didn't wave, just looked. I opened the window a crack. "Are you okay? Do you need help?" She didn't answer, just kept staring at me. The snow was falling on her face, but she didn't blink. I felt a chill run up my neck. "I can take you to town. Get in." Nothing. She started walking, slowly, toward the car. I closed the window quickly, locked the doors. She kept coming. Slow steps, eyes fixed on me. I remembered the sign. "Don't get out of the car, even if you see someone." I put it in gear, drove around her. In the rearview mirror I saw she had turned, was following me with her gaze, and then she started running. I floored it. The car accelerated, skidded. The rear end went offline. I looked in the rearview mirror. She kept running. Too fast. Inhumanly fast. Closing the distance, I screamed. Don't even know why. I accelerated more. The speedometer read 110, 120. Too dangerous in the snow. But she was getting closer and closer, until she disappeared. I looked at the rearview mirror. Empty. I breathed, reduced speed, and I heard it again. On the roof. She was on top of the car. I panicked. I zigzagged, tried to make her fall off. The knocking continued. Harder, faster. She was trying to get in. Suddenly I saw light, street lamps, the town. I accelerated as much as I could. The knocking became frantic. Something was scratching the metal, scratching the glass. I entered the town. Lit street, houses. I stopped in front of a gas station. The knocking stopped. So I stayed there, engine running, shaking. After 5 minutes, I got out. Slowly. I looked at the car roof. There were marks. Deep scratches in the metal like claws. And on the rear windshield, fogged by snow, someone had written from outside. Don't come back. I called my parents, said I was going to sleep right there in a hotel in town. I didn't tell them what happened. The next day I went to City Hall, asked about Road 403. The woman looked at me confused. There's no road with that number here. I showed her on the GPS. She checked on the computer. That road was deactivated in 2009. Closed off. It doesn't appear on any map anymore. I asked why. She hesitated. Accidents, many. People who went in and didn't come out. Some cars found empty, others never found. I felt my blood run cold. And the signs, the warning ones? She frowned. Nobody put any signs there. The road was simply abandoned. I went home via the main road. 6.5-hour trip. I never used GPS again. And every night before going to sleep, I checked the car roof. Because the marks are still there. And sometimes when it's very quiet, I swear I hear it.